Is another AEW star making the WWE jump? Plus, multiple AEW stars are competing at ROH Final Battle, and a major New Japan star is making a TNA return. It's all in the Cultaholic wrestling news right now. Another jump, you say? Surely not. Surely not in this environment, not in this economy. Apparently so. We've seen a few AEW stars moving from there to McMahon Land recently. Do we call it McMahon Land anymore?
Levesque Land?
Levesque Lair. Levesque Lair. Nice. Now, in some cases, they've jumped back to it as well. Another name to potentially add to this list today.
I can't roll my letters here, Tom. So can you do it?
Andrade.
Oh, he's good. It's like Ricardo Rodriguez being sat here with me, isn't it? And I'm Alberto. Oh, no. Andrade. I shouldn't have even said that, should I? We got a report out. Conversation began after Andrade was announced for an upcoming CMLL show, something that Meltzer said that Andrade was very keen to do. Dave continuing, his AEW deal is coming up relatively soon, unless it's extended because of time off or injuries. Obviously, he's been hurt a few times, but he thinks that his deal's up pretty soon. He's not made a decision on what he's doing next. He's not signed a new deal, but if he does go to WWE, he knows that he can't go back to Arena Mexico. My impression is that it's up relatively soon. He's somebody who has been relatively open on social media in the past before Bryan Danielson came in and laid down the law.
That's a peddling.
About his frustrations creatively when he has been cleared. So it wouldn't surprise me at all. At the same time, Charlotte's over there.
Yeah, there's good ladies there.
And I don't want to speculate, but are they still together? Because there was all that stuff. It's a horrible thing to speculate on, but also she unfollowed him and took his name out of her bio and all this sort of stuff.
Maybe they had a fallout over, maybe he didn't take the bin out.
It might have just been a little tiff. But
we'll leave it for Hello Magazine.
No, let's talk about it for 8 minutes. So I don't know if the temptation's going to be there in the same way that it was if that's not the case. But Triple H is in charge now. I don't think he was a full-on Triple H guy, but Triple H certainly liked him quite a lot, didn't he?
And I think that's the big difference here is, so let's to wind the clock back, Andrade requested his release from WWE back in March of 2021. He was very vocal about saying, I want to get out. I don't want to be here anymore. And then they went, all right, there you go. And then in June, he debuted for AEW. And like unfortunately, most big AEW signings debut to a lot of fanfare and then just kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit.
I don't know if it's fair to say most, but there's certainly a big contingent of ex-WWE guys who come in and do have that big name value and then drop down the card really, really rapidly. Andrade was certainly one of them, but it is important to remember that he has been hurt a few times as well.
There is that as well. And similar to where he was at with WWE, as Adam said a minute ago, he's been alluding to wanting to break free from here as well. And obviously a different regime in WWE certainly makes it more appealing, regardless of who is in the head of that regime.
Yeah, for sure. When he first came about and sort of started seeing him in NXT, because I hadn't seen him much before, to be honest. And WWE have obviously been on the lookout for their next big Hispanic star for a long, long time, and they've tried with various people. Everyone's seen Cara. Kalisto, well, all of the Lucha House Party, I guess.
The other
Sin Cara, Del Rio, who mentioned earlier, me. Obviously they've got Dragon Lee now and everything, but Andrade was the one. Angel, Umberto.
Dominic.
Andrade was the one that always stuck out to me. He was like, I always thought that's going to be the guy. Because he is so good. The one thing I think he does better than anybody else is a kind of brutality in the ring. He's vicious. He's really, you believe the moves that he's nailing, don't you? He's really, really good. I think they'd give him a good shot if he went back to WWE. I think they'd do him well.
I believe the role that Santos Escobar is doing now is one that I could have seen Andrade doing had he been around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
That role, Santos very much feels like he's going for that aggressive style that Andrade does. But who's to say that you can't factor him into the mix somewhere anyway? To go back to your point there about how they're looking for sort of the next breakout star, the next Rey Mysterio, if you will. I honestly think that Dragon Lee is probably their best bet. I think Dragon Lee's fantastic.
He's special, isn't he?
Really special.
Very good.
Obviously, he's making a little sojourner back home to NXT to do Deadline this weekend and fight for the North American title. Shawn Michaels on the media call said he didn't really get a chance to do much with him, and it's great to have him back, which suggests that Dragon Lee might be on NXT for a little bit, potentially. Yeah. Maybe float between the two, do a little bit on SmackDown, a bit on NXT.
But the fact that they put him on main roster so quickly and he had some pretty big featured matches on there would suggest that they see a lot in him.
Very much so. And Andrade could maybe be somebody added to that mix in the months to come. Next Friday, Ring of Honor present Final Battle. So, of course, there's a mad scramble to put some matches on. Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta appeared on ROH TV, throwing down a very special challenge for Final Battle.
Following the news that FTR will be appearing at Final Battle to honor Jay Briscoe. The Briscoes and FTR obviously had a great trilogy last year in Ring of Honor. Danielson spoke about facing Jay 20 years ago, almost to the day at Final Battle 2003. Therefore, Danielson challenged FTR and Mark Briscoe to face 3 members of the Blackpool Combat Club at this year's event.
Now, we don't know for definite that Bryan Danielson will be one of the 3 members. He kind of spoke and said, you're going to face 3 of the Blackpool Combat Club. So you got 4 there, so one of them's not going. And it'd be weird if Bryan Danielson tells all that history about him and Jay Briscoe and then goes, it's all the others.
Yeah, it would be weird, wouldn't it?
It'd be a strange move to make. Also, Tony Nese and Ethan Page will fight next Friday at Final Battle in an I Quit match. They've had a sort of a slow burner feud going on. They had a contract signing last night with Tony Khan overseeing it. And also, it's been announced that the women's title match between Athena and Billie Starkz will main event the show, and that is absolutely the right thing to do. Of all the stories going on Ring of Honor, this has been given the lion's share of the love and the attention, and it's been brilliantly done.
Yeah, for sure. Understandably so. It totally deserves the main event spot. Just going back to Tony Nese and Ethan Page, I think they're 2 people with a little bit to prove. And I think that match is going to be a lot better than people might expect it to be. You see those 2 names and everybody knows they're really, really good. But I think they realise that lots of people are going to be watching. That's quite a big match for those 2, given the point that they're at in both their careers. I think they're going to go all out.
I do believe that next Friday, all these matches are going to be great, and this is the thing. With Ring of Honor on pay-per-view, the shows are always fantastic. Everybody goes for it. I just wish there wasn't this sort of scramble to get matches on the card.
I don't get it. I really don't get it, because it's a pretty consistent thing with both AEW and Ring of Honor, is that matches are announced very, very late. And I don't know if this is some marketing thing. I throw as much as you can, get the excitement at fever pitch, and then hopefully pay-per-view buys are increased, ticket sales are increased off the back of that, because you're throwing so much all at once. But I find it quite frustrating as a fan. It doesn't work for me. I like to know things are coming a little bit in advance. Maybe I'm in the minority.
Especially when they've proven with this wonderful Athena and Minion in Training Billie Starkz story that they can tell great stories.
Oh, yeah.
And do them really well. Billie Starkz is the ultimate underdog babyface going into her first, not only her first Ring of Honor pay-per-view, but her first Ring of Honor pay-per-view main event of all things. Buzzing for them both. In ring, it's going to be a great card. Let's move to Impact. Deonna Purrazzo saying farewell by the looks of things. Fightful Select saying no new contract deal has been struck. Her deal is set to expire at the end of this year, and it looks as if she's going to explore the free market. Is Deonna Purrazzo?
I think this is a massive loss for Impact.
Massive loss.
Really, really big loss for their knockouts division. She's been fantastic. She's grown and grown as a performer. I don't really have a preference. I don't think she'll be short of offers, first of all. It wouldn't surprise me if WWE, AEW come a calling. But I don't really have a preference as to where she goes. There's nobody on either roster that sticks out as be like, I need to see that Deonna Purrazzo match. And that's no disrespect to Deonna Purrazzo. I think she's class. I just think she'd slot in really nicely in either company if she chooses to go that way.
I could maybe see her doing a little bit of a tour of duty with New Japan. I could see, for the New Japan Strong Women's title. I think add something to that. I think her and Julia could have some fun. I think they've certainly come close in the last year or so with Multiverse United shows and stuff. But talking of that special relationship between New Japan and Impact Wrestling, a TNA return, the likes of which we never thought we'd see. Forget about Punk coming back to WWE. Mind-blowing.
You're selling it here. You're selling it here like it's going to be a big swerve and it's someone rubbish. It's massive.
No, I mean it. I'll tell you, but there's a genuine reason why I'm. It's Kazuchika Okada, right?
Go.
It's Kazuchika Okada coming back to TNA Wrestling, and the reason why this is such a shock is because he was awful booking when he was there 10 years ago. But as we've learned from Paul Levesque, people can change in 10 years.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, he did the Okato.
Okada.
It's based off. Is it Green Goblin? Kato
Green
from
Hornet.
that. Green Hornet. Sorry, I'm not a loser.
I am. It's fine.
And yeah, they didn't do much with him. He did his little excursion over there from Japan, and like he was on TV a little bit, but he wasn't the Kazuchika Okada that we all came to know and love.
And it's become a little bit of a weird asterisk in Okada's career. Like one of the greatest wrestlers to ever wrestle. And he was doing like a Green Hornet cosplay in TNA during a really weird time in the middle of the card. And what I love about the video package to announce it is they embrace it. They're like back in 2010, Okada came to TNA, and there he is as Okada getting beaten up. And even in the video, you've got a clip of Okada saying, I've been trash talking TNA for years because of that, but it made me better. And now I think it's fitting that Okada shows up in a TNA ring again. So he's coming back. He's going to be at the tapings in Vegas the night after Hard to Kill, along with Will Ospreay.
Interesting timing on this as well, given that he might not be in New Japan for that much longer. Does he have other business in the States? Does he have business with TNA moving forward?
Well, there's Battle in the Valley the night before, which is why Ospreay can't do Hard to Kill, because New Japan are doing Battle in the Valley.
Yes.
I imagine maybe Okada might end up being involved in that. He might already be. Apologies, I can't remember. But there's that going on. But like you say, Okada is very much a talking point going into 2024 in terms of what he does next.
I almost went, if I was Kazuchika Okada, but seriously, there might be some sort of consideration to the kind of Shinsuke Nakamura schedule that like he's been doing with WWE. He's not having to do the same strong style matches. It's a lot easier on his body. The house show circuit looks like it's going to be there's going to be a lot fewer house shows to be doing next year. That's got to be a pretty appealing.
It's potentially something he'd think about. Obviously, with AEW, they're courting him already, and they've been doing work with. He's been on TV a lot, so he's kind of acclimatized to AEW, which is why a potential offer from them would be good. I mean, he doesn't really have to do anything. His wife is a very famous actress in Japan, so like he's got a life and a family in Japan, and he might want to continue on doing his thing. He may want the opportunity to broaden the horizons a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you could get paid stupid money, 7 figures, to do a Shinsuke Nakamura schedule, that's gotta be. I'd have some of that.
Or even remake the Green Hornet.
There you go.
There's a thought for you.
Green Goblin.
No, I'm a loser. I can tell you it's the Green Hornet. Hey, we'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at Cultaholic.com. And if you haven't done so already, WWE's Golden Age is part of Docember, part 1, waiting for you now. A tour de force from Sam Driver, Matthew Stewart, and Justin Henry. An amazing team effort, and I think the best thing we've ever put out.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. And part 2 this weekend as well. 4 parts, all coming. Loads more documentaries as well, so stay tuned for that. Hey, before we go, Tom, you want it? You're right. Oh, yeah. Kane could have been the next Hispanic star. He was born in Spain.
He was.
Yeah. He was.
That's it. Because the reigning
Kane is mainly on the Spain.
We'll be right back with Ed Sheeran and decorated Christmas puddings. See you in a bit.